Hello and welcome back to Hardworking Man. My name's Heath and we have some issues with our boiler. What happened, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to share with you some things to make sure you have before boiler season starts. So you saw me putting the hose in there and a lot of people are probably like, oh no, there's a leak. Well, that's not what happened, luckily, because when you get to a leaky boiler, a lot of times it's time for a new one. What happened was our pump failed right after I filled the boiler up with a fresh full load of wood. Then the pump quit working. I didn't know it, but I was like, why don't we have heat? Why is there no hot water in the house? And I come out here and this pump was really hot and no longer spinning, which in turn isn't drawing the heat out of here. So it overheated, it boiled over, and now I have to replace the pump and then fill the water back up and then get a fire going again because it's starting to cool down here in Michigan and it's awesome. If you're installing a boiler, I highly recommend having these shutoff valves on both of your lines so when you have to change the pump, all the water doesn't leak out. Trust me, I forgot this one up here and it backfed out of the house when I took this pump off last year to get it going again because it didn't start when I turned it on, but then it spun and it spun free and worked all year. So I was racing water just pouring out and it was a pain, all because I forgot about that one lever. I was doing it in the dark and it was just an oversight on my part. But with these shut off, barely any water will leak out and it'll make it so much easier. Another thing you want to have, which I had on hand, is a spare pump, because if this goes out in the winter, you're going to end up freezing lines, having all kinds of problems. So make sure you have a spare pump on hand. So I'm putting this one on now, our spare, and I'm going to order another one to put in the house, even though this is brand new. So I've got the power off to the pump. I'm going to unhook the electrical, then hook the electrical to the new pump before I remove that pump, so I can do a quick swap over, even though it shouldn't be an issue. And then fill it back up with water, light it up, and hope, fingers crossed, we're back in business. All right, so on the old pump, this was held in with the little nut, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, probably a nut. But on the new pump, it's threaded. So I can just thread that in, then I'll get the wire run through it. And it was wire nutted together on the old pump. The new one has all these little push connectors, so it's gonna be easy. They made this pretty simple. And the pump is going to run this way. So I am going to leave it, actually, I'll leave it like this so that it is, actually no, like that, perfect, so that it feeds out this way. All right, let me get this hooked up and we'll bring you back when we're swapping the pumps out. Now I'm also going to show you something that caused me fits last year. If you ever overheat your boiler, there's most likely a limit switch on it and you have to reset that. So I'm going to show you that once I get everything back together. All right, so I've got the new one wired in. This is a 3-speed pump. I'm putting it on low and I'll see how it works. You don't want to over pump, so I'd rather start low and move up if I need to. Now I got to get this one out, which is sort of a pain, but I guess not the end of the world, right? All right, so now I need to get this pump loose, and if I turn that the right way, it'll come off easier. Now the new pump has new O-rings, so that will just be a fresh set. Make sure those stay in place. And I have to crawl in here to get this up. Now you'll see I'm losing some water, but not an insane amount. Last time I did this, like I said, it was just rushing water out at night in the winter. It was quite a pain. That pump, hopefully this new pump's a little easier. This pump is tough to get the bolts in because this is in the way, so I have to put some bolts in from the bottom, some from the top. I think the new one's gonna be a lot. So like that one, I can barely eke out of there. So the bottom is unhooked now. Now for the top. I did it again. It's hard when you're upside down and backwards. Also, I don't know if all boilers have it because I bought this used, but it's got like a set of light switches out here. So I can just turn the power to this pump off right out here, which is nice because I didn't have to worry about breakers or anything like that. It's just turn it off, work on it, and turn it back on when it's hooked back up. I think now coming to a more modern pump too, it's going to be easier to change next time. Now that limit switch I was talking about, what that does is if you over temp your boiler, which I did, it will stop your fan from turning on. Because otherwise, once this got down to 120 degrees, it would call for heat, the fan would turn back on, and we would be pumping oxygen back into the firebox and creating more fire and more boil over. So that limit switch, if the water gets too hot, that limit switch flips and then it stops the fan from ever turning on again until that limit switch is reset. Now you can see why this would be a pain in the butt with the water running and in the middle of winter, which is why I'm sort of glad that it went now. I knew I should have changed it when I got everything set up, but I didn't because I'm cheap, and I thought I might be able to get one more winter out of that one. So there, my little O-ring just came off. I'm gonna do the top first. I'll have to put that one back on. Yeah, this is gonna be nicer. They give you more room to work here. So the other one I could not put the bolt in from the top here. Which now I can. Huh. Come on, Heath.
You need that?
Yeah. What temperature is this at? There's still heat in it.
It's on LA.
All right, so I can feel there is still heat in this water, and it has been, so I turned this off or came out and realized the pump wasn't working almost probably 3-4 days ago. Try to tighten this up evenly to crush that O-ring down. All right, the pump is installed, it is wired. I'm gonna open the water back up. And it does not appear to be leaking. The moment of truth. And the pump is running. That is so much quieter than the old one. Now, right here, that's your limit switch. Just that little red button. You have to push that back in, and now, when I reset the fan, turn it on and reset it. All right, so I brought a fire starter out to get this thing going again, but it's still at 100 degrees. I shouldn't have turned the fan on until I did this. So there's a decent chance that there's coals in there that are still gonna take. Let me turn that fan back off and get stuff situated. Whew. You know what? I gotta go to work, so even though this would most likely go, I am going to throw a fire starter in there right here. Hardworking Man fire starters. Hardworking Woman showed the best way to ever make these things in bulk, batches, faster than ever. We used to pour it in out of the pot. Then Tony from TC's Outdoors, he showed a pancake dropper. That worked great. Now, the way Rachel does it on Hardworking Woman, by far the best way ever. Hit it like that with the lighter, and that's it. Now we'll throw some wood in there, get that fan back on. Then I gotta fill the water back up because we boiled too much out. And we've almost gone through 1 tote of scrap already. So I'll get another fresh tote up here. All right, that actually boiled out quite a bit of water. We got the green light back, but I'm gonna put some more in, get it up close to the top, and because we're gonna be a little over full, it'll boil out a little more again, but I'd rather be a little above the safe green. That green light is basically where you're safe at, so we'll be a little bit above that. And then I'm gonna show you something in the house that we added that is a huge time saver and tool if you have an outdoor boiler. And it was like probably $15 on Amazon, and you can add it in a second. Now this is just a spring connected thermometer that I put right on one of the brass fittings, so it tells us what water is pumping through those tubes and the temp is coming up. So there you have it. Limit switches, thermometers, filling water, fixing boilers. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.